Thanks, Rabbi.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, Erev Tov, everyone. We're going to dedicate the show in the soul of Hasya Ita. בת שמואל, נשמתה תהיה צרורה בצור החיים, please God. וכל, please God, כל החללים, כל הנופלים של עמו בית ישראל. רבותיי, before we start with Had Gadya, I would like to start and to explain why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu have to bring 10 plagues on the Egyptian. HaKadosh Baruch Hu can bring one plague and finish the job and take the children of Israel out of Egypt. Why that katen? Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu decide to bring 10 plagues? And the Torah tells us about the 10 plagues. In Haggadah we read about the 10 plagues. What's the hidush behind it? I mean, HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't even need a plague to take the children of Israel. But here we see that what he done, he brought 10 plagues on the Egyptian. And only after the 10th plague, he took us out. Ma hidush, what's the hidush here? We have to understand that. So we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought the first 10 plagues. Let's go through the plague and try to understand it. What was the first plague? Dam. Dam is blood. What did HaKadosh Baruch Hu done in the plague of blood that was so special? HaKadosh Baruch Hu turned all the liquid in Eretz Mitzrayim, any kind of liquid, he turned it to blood. So that means that the Egyptian couldn't drink. Pshat of the dvarim. Pshat of the dvarim. But what's hiding behind? That's what we have to understand. So the Mefarshim on Makat Dam, the children of Israel become rich. What? You make them rich? What's the hidush here? Take them out. No, first I'll make them rich. Why? Because the children of Israel, when there was in Egypt, there was rich people. The Egyptian took all the money from them. And then they make them slave. First they make them poor. Then they make them slave. Say HaKadosh Baruch Hu measure for measure. First of all, let's turn. Now you're going to be rich, they're going to be poor. That's the drash of the dvarim. But there is also sod here. There is a secret behind it. Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu done it? Say the Mefarshim like this. HaKadosh Baruch Hu done it because here HaKadosh Baruch Hu show and build the faith in the children of Israel. Because the children of Israel was idol worshippers. They didn't believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Come HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Number one, make them rich. Number two, show them that he's in charge about all the liquid in the world. To contradict what Pharaoh said. Liori ve'ani berativ. The Nile is mine, and I'm the God of the Nile. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, you said that you're the God of the Nile. Let's use God. Here HaKadosh Baruch Hu, number one, contradict what the Egyptians said and build a faith in the Jewish people. You follow? Number four, he showed the entire world who's in charge about the liquid in the world. Then came the plague of frog. Here HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed the children of Israel that he's not only in charge about the liquid in the world, but inside the liquid he's also in charge. To build the faith of the Jewish people in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How do we know that the children of Israel was idol worshippers, was pagan? Ele of the Avodah Zarah, Ele of the Avodah Zarah. When they stood on Shvei Shel Pesach by the seed of reed, the seed didn't want to split. Moshe Rabbeinu and the angel of the sea. What's the name of the angel of the sea? Anyone know? Everything in life have an angel. Every tree have an angel. Every weed have an angel. Everything. Every stone have an angel. The Mekubalim, sorry, let me into Ellen. Ellen also join us. The Mekubalim explain that his name is Uzza. That's his name. Uzza. Yeah. And he came, Moshe Rabbeinu said to him, please, let us go, split the sea. The angel of the sea looked at Moshe and said, you're going to tell me what to do? Who born before who? The sea or you? The sea. Moshe Rabbeinu said to him, listen, I'm not here to argue. I'm ordering you to split to 12 lines. Every tribe have to cross the Sea of Reeds. If not, I'm gonna dry you. The angel of the sea gone to heaven, I'm making it short, and said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what's happening? He said, listen to Moshe Rabbeinu. Don't worry. And in the end, he'd been split. But the angel of the sea said to Moshe Rabbeinu, but those you want to drown, he said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you want to drown the Egyptian because they're idol worshippers of the Avodah Zarah? The children of Israel, they're idol worshippers. So what's the difference? Ele of the Avodah Zarah, Afele of the Avodah Zarah. What's the difference? Said the Mefarshim that in the end he agreed to split. That's pshat of the Dvarim. Why Dafka HaKadosh Baruch Hu have to send the plague of frog? What's so special about the frog? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is measure for measure. Hazal say, כל מידותיו של הקדוש ברוך הוא מידה כנגד מידה, measure for measure. הקדוש ברוך הוא, his character trait is measure for measure. When the children of Israel was in slavery, in hard slavery in Egypt, after a hard, full day, when they used to come home, they wanted just to sleep. The Egyptians didn't allow them. They said to them, now go and clean my backyard. Go and wash the dishes. They didn't give them a chance to sleep. Say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you didn't let them sleep. No problem. The frog not going to let you sleep. If you hear a noise of a frog, when they make noise, it's beyond understanding. You can't sleep. All night. And that, not only that. Where is the frog gone? The frog, Rabotai, was inside their bed, inside the oven, inside the cupboard. Wherever they gone was frog. They couldn't take it. So they couldn't sleep. Measure for measure. Here, HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed the children of Israel that he is in charge about what's inside the liquid. Then came the third plague, that was lice. Here, all the sorcerers, all the witchcrafters, all the magicians in Egypt said we can't create that plague. It's by leukemia. That's I can't make. Why? Because the lice smaller than 25 cents. I can't do that. Here HaKadosh Baruch Hu show that all of those sorcerers waste of time. They all use evil forces. By the way, you know who's the multi-nation? You know, you hear Erev Rab, Erev Rab. Who's that Erev Rab? Biduk, said the Zohar HaKadosh. All of those sorcerers, all of those witchcrafters converted and start to believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what left out with the children of Israel. And that's what we have trouble until today with Erev Rab. Here HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed that he's not only in charge about the liquid, what's inside the liquid. Now we're moving to the earth. He built now the emunah in the Jewish people that they're starting to believe that the sorcerers themselves converting. Do you understand what's happening here? So the 10th plague wasn't just to break the Egyptian. HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't need it. One plague, finished with it. He needed to build the emunah in the Jewish people, that the Jewish people can see in their own eyes and to understand that what's happened in Egypt, it's all witchcrafting and sorceries. After Makat Kini, what came? It was Makat Arov. Makat Arov is what we call it the wild beast in English, nachon? If I'm not mistaken. Why dafka the wild beast? HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to show that he's in charge about the wild animal. But there is here measure for measure. The wild beasts attacking every Egyptian house, not a Jewish house. HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed that he can tell the wild beast who to attack, who's not. Believe it or not. Not only that, it was measure for measure. The Egyptian turned the Jewish people to hunters. They used to tell them, listen, I want a lion. Go to the wilderness, bring me a lion. That's going to be my pet. What is the chances with no equipment to hunt a lion and to stay alive? Zero. Kadosh Baruch Hu say, you punish my kids to go and be hunters? Those wild animals gonna deal with you. Measure for measure. Here Kadosh Baruch Hu show that now is in charge about wild animal. We'll see that there is also then domestic animal. The next one is Makat Dever. HaKadosh Baruch Hu killing all brought a plague on the domestic animal, on all the animal. Killing all the animal. The children of Israel see that their animal, 100%, but the Egyptian animal died. How can it be? What's the Hiddush here? What was the measure of measure? What was the measure of measure? He said that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, you used to send my kids to become shepherd. You turned my children to become a shepherd, to go and take your domestic animal, or whatever you want to call them, goats, cows, bull. You turn them to shepherd. I'm going to kill all your domestic. Here HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed that it's not only wild beasts, it's also domestic animals. Then come boil, the plague of boil. Here HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to show the children of Israel that he is in charge about the sickness, all the diseases in the world, to build the faith of the Jewish people. But from the other way, it was measure for the Egyptian. Why? Listen to that. The Egyptian didn't allow the children of Israel to have a shower. So from the sweat, it started to create disease. They start scratching themselves. Who said, measure for measure, whatever you've done to my kids, I'm just letting you feel it. Then came the plague of hail. The hail was very important. It was ice and fire together. Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu done it? Here HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed that he's in charge not only about the liquid like before, also about the fire. And he can make peace between them. That fire and ice can fall together from heaven. What was the measure for that? Say the Mefarshim, it was like this. The Egyptian made the Jewish people farmers. Go plant for me trees, vineyard, orchard. Oh, very nice. I'm going to bring the plague of hell, and that's going to destroy all your crops, all your fruit, all your veggies. Nothing going to happen. Then came, after that, Makat Arbe. Arbe is a locust. You hear about locusts. Why Dafka locust? So Akadosh Baruch Hu brought it, number one, to show that he's in charge about all the insects that fly in him, to build the emunah energy. But above that, whatever left from the hell, now the locusts have to pay. Measure for measure. After that come the plague of darkness. Akadosh Baruch Hu created darkness. But just for general knowledge, the plague of darkness was 6 days. You know that? It's performed 6 days, not 7 days, like all the other plagues. Why? Because the 7 days Akadosh Baruch Hu kept it for the 7 of Ve'ishel Pesach, when they're going to be by the sea of reeds, and he's going to drown them just before he's going to drown them. He split it to 2. It was a darkness that they couldn't see each other the first 3 days. The second part of the plagues of darkness was that they couldn't move. A person that sit couldn't stand up for 3 days. A person that stood couldn't sit, couldn't move. A person that lied down couldn't get up of his bed. Here Akadosh Baruch Hu showed that he's not only in charge about water, about what's on the ground, animal, insect, water and fire. Akadosh Baruch Hu showed that he's in charge about the meorot. Meorot is the sun and the moon. But why dafka that plague? Because in that plague, the children of Israel already received the information. Where's all the treasure of the Egyptian? They're going from house to house, but they never took. Later on, they ask and they give them. ושאלה אישה מחברתה, שמלות. They received dresses, they received gold, whatever. The Egyptian given to the Jewish people, and the same with the male. But what was the Hidush here? Why Dafka darkness? Said the Mefarshim like this, about I listen to that. When the children of Israel came, after a full day of hard work, and that time they didn't have ESCOM. Not that ESCOM give light, but they didn't have ESCOM. They used to take a candle. They used to stick it on their head. And when it used to melt, you know, the wax used to burn them. Kadosh Baruch Hu said to the Egyptian, you turn my kids to a candlestick? I'll teach you a lesson. Measure for measure. You'll feel what is it to be in a darkness. That you can't see and then you can't move. And the final plague, what was it? The plague of the firstborn. Here HaKadosh Baruch Hu killed the firstborn. Male and female. Not only male, male and female, said the Mefarshim. The firstborn. What was behind it? Shat of the Dvarim. They drowned the children of Israel, and now I'll kill you, your firstborn. Shat of the Dvarim. Let's move one step up. Here HaKadosh Baruch Hu revealed the level of the Egyptian, how much immorality they had. What was the immorality? That every woman have at least 4 or 5 men. And suddenly the husband come and they see that in his house he have more than 1 child dying. How can it be? Can be only the firstborn. He start to realize that his wife was with other men. So that means that that child is not his. It's from Haim Yankel and from Haim Shmelz, not from Haim. From Muhammad, from Sinwar, from whoever is it. You understand? Here he exposed the immorality in Egypt. But here HaKadosh Baruch Hu built the faith in the Jewish people, that he showed them that HaKadosh Baruch Hu know exactly and he have a person's supervision for every human being to build the Emunah in a Jewish people. That's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought 10 plagues. Rabotai, that's about the 10 plagues. Let's move on to Had Gadya. You love Had Gadya. Everything is the same. Had Gadya. The poem of Had Gadya, it's not known who wrote it. I have to explain that. Had Gadya is not a poem that people can say, Chaim Yankel wrote it, Chaim Shmuel. No one knows. Okay. If you look, it's an Aramaic, all the poem. The poem of Had Gadya, been built from 10 lines, 10 verses. We say it right in the end. Okay? The Gaon Hida. You don't have a sheet. The poem of Had Gadya that I'm going to bring tonight is the translation of the Gaon Vilna, Rabbi Eliyahu ben Shlomo Vilna. He born in Vilna 305 years ago. The guy that put it together, it's Arav Moshe Shenfeld. He took it and he put it together and he made the translation. So let's start with your permission. The Gaon Hida, by the way, saying that when the Gaon Hida born 301 years ago in Jerusalem, and he used to travel all over the world to collect money for the yeshivot. And when he was in the eastern part of Europe, in Ashkenaz, he said, he was sitting with all the Rabbonim and they were singing and Pesach Had Gadya. And one guy started making the song, you know, talking about goats, talking about cats, dogs. Then you're talking about ox or a bull and a stick. What are you making jokes? What is that? One of the rabbis stood up and put him in iron. Why? Because he laughed about Had Gadya. So we have to understand that that poem is very holy. So בעזרת השם, נעשה ונצליח, והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח ולדו חד גדיה. חד גדיה, דזמין הבא בתרי זוזה. Who want to read it? Mike, would you read it in English? The commentary. Okay, what's happening here? Had Gadya, it was one goat that the father bought with 2 coins. We have to understand, what does that have to do with the Agada? A goat, 2 coins. What is the Hidu? And who's Abba? Who's the father? Well, what's happening here? So the Gemara Vilna explain that we have to understand. Like this. The father is Yaakov Avinu. The father is Yaakov Avinu. Trezuzeh is the striped garment, the striped coat that Yaakov Avinu made for who? For Yosef HaTzadik, Yosef. What's happening here? We have to understand. Yeah, Yosef HaTzadik. What's happened? Here, the Gaon Vilna explained that here's the beginning of the exile. And all the Haggadah speak about the exile, huh? And the Exodus. He explained like this. What's caused the exile? The stripe of garment. That Yaakov Avinu made for who? For Yosef HaTzadik. That the brother was jealous of him. Why Trezuzeh? 2 coins. What's the Hidush here? Say the Mefat, say the Gaon Vilna like this. The difference between the value of the garment that Yaakov Avinu made for Yosef HaTzadik to his brothers, the stripe one to the other one, was trezuzeh, 2 different coins. That was the value of that garment. And that's what caused all the problem. So what we learn from him? The father was Yaakov Avinu. Trezuzeh was the striped garment. The goat was Yosef HaTzadik. And that's the beginning of the exile. The second verse. Ve'ata shunra ve'achla legadia. I'm not reading all of it, I'm reading just the Ikar. Chavod, Mike. What's happened here? In that verse, the author tells us that it came the cat, okay, and he bites the goat. He bites the goat. What's the hiddush? What happened? We have to understand, we explained that the goat is Yosef HaTzadik. Who's the cat? Who's the cat? Potiphar. According to Efi, it's Potiphar. Said the Gaon Mivilna, that's the brothers, the 11 tribes. Why? What happened here? The 11 tribe was so jealous of Yosef that they decide that they're going to sell him. They sold him to who? We know how many times Yosef been sold? How many times? 2. Few. How many is few? First, he been sold to Ishmaelim, to the Midianite. Midianite, and then Ishmael. They are Middanim. 3 times. And the 4th time to Egypt. That means Yosef HaTzadik, how many times he's been sold? 4 times. Not many people know that. People think that he's been sold twice to the Midianite and then to Egypt. He became a slave in the house of Potiphar. That's the Potiphar's wife's name, you know? Zulika. Remember that name? That was her name. She wanted to seduce Yosef to be with her. Yesh beze sod. Not for nothing she wanted him. Why dafka him? She saw that. When is it came again? Say Ari HaKadosh b'sha'ar Gilgulim, the reincarnation. There is a story in a Gemara about Rabbi Eliezer ben Torta. Torta in Aramaic is a bull. A bull. He bought a bull from one of the sages. Said the Mekubalim, also the Ramah Mipana, that was Potiphar and his wife. The goy and the ox was Potiphar and his wife. If we'll have time in the end, I'll explain it.
The what's in the ox? Potiphar and his wife?
Potiphar and his wife, Zulika.
Was the ox in?
And the ox, Nahon, and the goy that bought it from the sage. Okay. So we explained that the cat was the brother of Yosef that sold it. Okay? Nahon? We said that's the cat that sold Yosef. Okay. How do we know that that's what? Said the Gaon Mevilna. In Hebrew, you call a cat חתול. למה חתול? שמחתל את צדחיו. So the Gaon Mevilna, you learn from here that the cat is very modest. After he finished to do what he do, he covered. He said the children of Israel also modest and humble. The children of Israel, here comparing to a cat. After that, say in verse 3, ואתה כלבה ונשך לשונרה. חבוד. And then came the dog and bite the cat. Who's the dog? We said the cat is the children of Israel. In that case, who's the dog? Said the Gaon Mivilna, the dog is the Egyptian. How do you know that the Egyptian is the dog? It's in the Torah. ולכל בני ישראל לא יחלץ כלב לשונו. What does it mean? When the children of Israel left Egypt, no dog barked. Usually the dog is a loyal animal. If you go to someone's property, or you leave, or you walk next to, the dog start getting mad. Correct me if I'm wrong. Never bark. He said that here it's come to tell you that the Egyptian put the children of Israel through the slavery, because the cat was the children of Israel. He come and he bite the cat. Who come and bite him? Pharaoh. Pharaoh and the Egyptian put the children of Israel through hard slavery. That's what it means, and he bite them. Verse 4, ואתה חותרה והיכה לכלבה. We say that the dog is the Egyptian. The poem tells us that came the stick and hit the dog. Who's that stick? No. The stick of Moshe Rabbeinu. Remember, Moshe performed all the miracle with the stick. Ashlech matcha, and it's turned to snake. Okay. Who was that mate? The mate. Who was the mate? That's the mate of Adam Arishon. And then it moved to Noah. Noah to Abraham. Abraham to Yitzhak. To Yaakov. Okay. From Yaakov, he took it to Egypt. Then it was with Yosef HaTzadik. And it's taken from Yosef HaTzadik, and where is it been put? In a house of Yitro. Who was the shepherd of Yitro? Moshe Rabbeinu, נכון? Moshe Rabbeinu, in what age he gone to redeem the children of Israel? In the age of 80. Moshe Rabbeinu in the age of 20, until the age of 20, he was in the house of Pharaoh. He was a prince. In the age of 20, he killed the Egyptian. Datan ve'Aviram, Tittle. You need to fled. He fled to where? To the city of Cush. To a place that called Cush. Cush is right next to Egypt. He became a king there. Then he left. Where is he gone? From Cush.
The king died and he was a king.
No.
But he couldn't be anything with the
He couldn't be a king because they couldn't conquer. The vice of the king took over, and they asked Moshe Rabbeinu, help us to overcome and take it, the kingdom. He said, I will help you. And he took that kingdom, he became a vice to the king. When the king died, then he took then he became a king, and he was there for 40 years. 40 years in Cush. Then he gone to Midian, to the house of Yitro. Yitro threw him to the pit. Tzipporah, his daughter, looked after him. And one day he decided, he remembered, listen, I have a prisoner in a pit. Does that make sense to what's happening in Gaza? In the tunnels? He came out and he saw that stick. Yitro told all the people in Midian, whoever gonna pull that stick off the ground can marry my daughter. No one can do that, said the Midrash. When Moshe Rabbeinu came out of the stick, he pulled it like you pull a radish off the ground. He knew that is something special. Then Moshe Rabbeinu had that stick all the time. He gone with that to Egypt, and with that he performed the miracle. That stick, what hit the, we said that? Obviously, with that stick, he hit the dogs. Who's the dog we said? Egyptian. You understand? With that dog, he performed the 10 plagues, the splitting of the sea. And that was the stick, and that's what he tells us. With that stick, he performed the miracle of against the Egyptian. And then he said, "Ve'atanu v'saraf lechutra." Mikey? Yeah, that's it. We don't need to go because it's repeating itself. Let's save time. And then came the fire and burned the stick of Moshe Rabbeinu. We say that the stick is Moshe Rabbeinu, but who's the fire? Who's the fire? The fire, Rabotai, is the desire of the Jewish people. Sorry? Not Ratzon. Desire. Desire is the code. That's all the desire, the evil inclination that we have. יצר הרע. הגמרא במסכת בבא בתרא, ט"ז עמוד א', that means 16 folio 1, tell us. הוא יצר רע, הוא מלאך המוות, הוא השטן. What does it mean? Hazal tell us, the יצר הרע, the evil inclination, the angel of death. Okay? The Satan is one. The Mekubalim explain that each one of us have it. Each one of us have the Yetzer Hara. Each one of us have that. How do you see that? Sometimes you can hear yourself talking to yourself. Each one of us here, and no one can say no. That he fighting with himself not to do Avera. He talking to himself. I don't want to do that. I can't do that. Or sometimes we don't have enough strength and we're doing Averot. Or we're going after our desire. It's come to tell you that what's happened with the stick of Moshe? That Moshe Rabbeinu was the stick. He managed to overcome the Egyptian. But then came the evil inclination and caused a fire. What was the fire? That they complained, the children of Israel complained all the time in the wilderness. They complain about what? They had the desire to want meat. They didn't want the manna. No, water they entitled. That's not a desire, that's they need. The desire was they have food, the manna. They asked.
Or did you look at the desert to kill us?
Who's that? But it's not a desire. The desire that they have, that they want it, you got manna from heaven. You know what was so special about the manna? They didn't need to go to the toilet. The children of Israel in the wilderness, as long as they eat the manna, they didn't need to go to the toilet to do big, only small. Why? Because that bread, it's called lechem ha'evarim, shenivla ba'evarim, Chazal said. It was so healthy. And they say, what, we're not going to the toilet? What, we're not human beings? We need meat. And that's where all the problems start. And that's what caused the fire, the desire, the evil inclination. והתם היה וקיבה לנורה. בכבוד, מייקי. The water came. Okay, that's it. And then came the water and put the fire down. What's happened here, Rabotan? We said that the fire is the evil inclination. What is the water? Torah. Where do we learn that? Hazal tell us in Gemara Masechet Baba Kama, Pei Bet Amud Bet, 82 folio 2. What did Hazal say there? Hazal tell us, En Maim Ela Torah. En Maim Ela Torah. That means that water is a Torah. The children of Israel received in Mount Sinai the Torah. So that put the evil inclination in its place. And then Vata Torah Veshata Lemaya. And then came the ox and drank the water. We say that water is the Torah, but came the ox and drank the water. Who's the ox? It's the golden calf that the children of Israel done in the wilderness. After that, Vata Malach HaMavet V'Shachat LeShochet. Vata Shochet U'Shachat LeTorah. And then come the Shochet, and slaughter the ox. The ox is, what did we say the ox is? The Egel HaZahav. V'Shochet, who's the Shochet? Moshe Rabbeinu that came down the mountain. What has he done? When he saw the children of Israel dancing, he got upset. He smashed the first tablet, and then he took the golden calf and he melted. You understand? And then V'atam Malach HaMavet, and then come the angel of death. V'Shachat LeShochet. We said the Shochet was Moshe Rabbeinu. So who's the angel of death? That's the angel of death that we have today, the Yetzer Hara. Why? Because Hazal say when the children of Israel received the Torah on Mount Sinai, Batla Zo'omatam, was no more Yetzer Hara. But now that the sin with the golden calf, come Yetzer Hara. How did he manage to overcome Moshe Rabbeinu? When they enticed Moshe Rabbeinu, like Efi said, that they put Moshe Rabbeinu on a corner and they said to him, we want water. And they demanded. Moshe Rabbeinu lost his temper and he hit the stone instead of talking to the stone. That when was the decree that Moshe Rabbeinu not going to enter the land of Eretz Israel. Understand? And the last one, ואתה הקדוש ברוך הוא ושחט למלאך המוות. And then will come the Almighty, and He's going to slaughter מלאך המוות, the angel of death. What's happening here? אז אני גמרא מסכת סוכה, שלעתיד לבוא. מביאו הקדוש ברוך הוא ליצר הרע, ושוחטו בפני צדיקים ורשעים. הקדוש ברוך הוא will take the evil inclination, he's going to shecht it in the front of the tzaddikim and the wicked people. The tzaddikim will say, will cry. The wicked people will cry. the tzaddikim say, how did we manage to overcome that evil inclination? The wicked people say, how we couldn't stood against them. It's so simple. It's come to tell you that for the future to come, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gonna slaughter the angel of death. But he's not gonna get rid of that angel. The name of the angel of death, Samech Mem Aleph Lamed. You're not allowed to mention his name. That's why I said. Say Hazal, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gonna split his name. The Samech Mem, he's gonna get rid. What left? Aleph Lamed El. That he's gonna turn that angel to a good angel. That's what Hashem, that we see it speedily in Alabama. But I hope that you enjoy the show. It's all connected to one thing. How the redemption going to be. It's all about the redemption of the Jewish people. I hope that you enjoyed the show. Dr. Les, have a good night.
Okay.